Hello guys, welcome to this tutorial. My name is Emmanuel. In this tutorial, we'll be creating the sample of the summer party flyer we have on our screen here. If you're an old subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. If you're new to the channel, kindly hit on the subscribe button and turn on the notification icon to get notified whenever we post a new video. Kindly give this video a thumbs up so that YouTube can recommend it to other people and it helps us create amazing content like this. Kindly share your thoughts with me in the comment section below. Without further ado, let's get started. And the first thing we want to do is to head onto the three dot on the right corner of our screen, and then we head onto image size. The dimension for this design is 1280 by 1280 pixels, and we'll click OK. Next up, we want to import the resources we'll be using for this design, and the first we'll be importing is the background. We head onto the plus icon and to gallery, and then we'll locate the background on our device. Now I'll leave a link in the description of this video for all the resources I'll be using in this tutorial. Kindly download it and try your hands on it. So we'll just scale this and then we'll place it somewhere around here, and we have it there nicely. Head onto the layers panel and then we'll lock this so that we have it in place and it doesn't move when creating our designs. So the next thing we want to do is to add other elements onto our design. Head onto the plus icon and to the gallery, and then we'll be locating some other elements. So we'll just click here and we'll go to gallery, and then we have this and we'll bring it onto our design. So we'll just crop this a little bit to remove excesses, and we have it there nicely, and we'll check. So we'll just position it over here at the center, and then we'll use the positioning tool to position it properly at the center vertically, and then we'll position it horizontally, and we have it there nicely. So we just want to scale it a little bit this way, and we have it there nicely, and we'll check. So the next thing we want to add is to add the other elements. So we'll head onto the plus icon and to the gallery, and we'll just locate this, and we have this over here, and we'll check. We'll place it over here. We'll just scale it up a little bit, and we'll place it over here. And we want to head on to layer panel, and then we'll lock this so that we have it in place, and we'll head on to the plus icon again and to our gallery, and we'll bring the other element, and we have this. We'll just place it over here and we'll scale it up a bit, and then we'll bring it over here nicely, and we'll head on to the layers panel and we'll lock this to also have it in place. So now that we have this in place, the next thing we want to type is to type the summer text. So we'll head on to the plus icon and text, and we'll be typing summer. So we type, we'll click done, and we'll click OK. So next up, we want to head on to font, and we'll change the font from what we have there to a font that I installed here on Pixellab. And if you don't know how to install font on Pixellab, I'll leave a link in the description of this video that will show you step by step on how to install fonts on Pixellab. So kindly check it out. So we'll be using this Go Bold Extra, and we'll click OK. Next up, we want to scale it all the way this way, and we'll make it bold, and then we'll head on to stroke, change the color of the stroke from a black to a white, and then we increase it to 4 pixels, and we have it there nicely, and we'll click OK. And the next thing we want to do is to scale this up a little bit, because we want it to be longer. So we'll scale it. So we'll head onto the plus icon here and we'll add a shape We have this shape and we'll just crop it all the way down, scale it all the way down this way, and then we'll just scale it all the way down this way, and we'll position it on top of our text, and then we'll head on to the layers panel, and then we'll select this and this and we'll merge it together. So we have it merged together, so we can drag this area down a little bit and we have it there nicely. So we'll use the positioning tool to also position this to the center because we want it to be aligned properly. So we use this relative positioning tool and position it to the center. So we have it there. So next up, we want to head on to the plus icon and we'll bring our subject. So from gallery, and then we'll locate our subject, and we have our subject here. So we'll just remove these excesses and we'll click OK. So we'll just scale this up a bit and then we'll place it over here. We use the relative positioning tool to position it to the center and we'll click OK. Next up, we want to make a copy of this. So we'll make a copy and then we'll just hide this copy for now because we don't need it for now. And the next thing we want to do is to erase the bottom part of our subject because it's looking somehow awkward because it has a sharp edge. So we'll just select this, select our subject, and then we'll locate the erase tool. So we have the erase tool here. So we'll increase the size of the brush and reduce the hardness and we'll erase. So let's undo. So we erase this bottom part nicely. And carefully. So we have that nicely and we'll click OK. So as you can see, our subject is just as if it's coming from the background and we have it there nicely. So the next thing we want to do is to head on to the layers panel and then we'll lock our subject as well so that we have it in place. So now that we have it there, the next thing we want to do is to add a color effect. So we'll head on to our gallery and then we add this watercolor effect there. So we'll just check and then we'll have it over here and we'll scale it, position it over here nicely. We'll just scale it again. So we just want to rotate it a bit. So we have it over there and we'll bring it behind our subject. We'll bring it behind our subject. So we'll reveal the second subject and then we'll make a little adjustment to it because we want part of this image to be behind our subject and part of it to be in front of our subject. So we'll just reveal this. Just reveal this real quick and then we'll use the relative positioning tool to position this to the center, and we use this positioning tool to also align this because we want it to match up with what we have there. So we select the second image here and we'll also align it vertically and horizontally to the center. So we head on to the layers panel, and then we want to bring this on top. So bring this to front, and then we'll locate the eraser tool because we want to erase part of this. So let me just hide it so that you see the effect there, so you can see it. So we want to erase part of it, so we'll just locate the eraser tool, and we have it here. So we increase our brush and increase the hardness, and then we'll erase part of this image this way. So let's check and see the effect, and we have a nice blend there. So we'll head on to the layers panel and we'll lock all of this to have them in place and they don't move. So the next thing we want to type is to type the name of the club, that's Tahiti Club, and then the date for this event. So I already have this type. I'll just head on to my layer and I'll reveal this. So I have this type. I'll select it and send it to front. Also select this as well and send it to front. So I will take this up, and then I head on to font, and I'll change the font for this to a font that I install, and it's Acrobat Black, and I click OK. And I want to head on to size, and I'll reduce the size a little bit, 22, 24, and I click OK. And then I'll head on to spacing, and I'll increase the spacing 15, or let me make it 18, and I click OK. So I want to align this vertically to the center. So I align this to the center, and I'll just take it up a little bit so I have it there nicely. So I want to add the date for that event, so I head on to the plus icon and from my gallery, and I will locate this brush stroke here, and I'll bring it onto my design. So as you can see, this has a background, and I want to remove the background here on Pixellab. So I'll just head on to erase color, and then I activate it and it erases the color for me. So I check and I come down to color here, enable it, and then I select this color here and I check. So the next thing I want to do is to drag this up, and then I'll resize it a little bit because I don't want it all that big. So I'll resize it, and then I'll place it over here, and I'll use the positioning tool and position it to the center, so I have it there nicely. So I want to select this text and then head on to font, and I'll change the font for this text to a font that I install. So I'll just locate this font and I'll use this Go Bold Extra 2, and I click OK. So I drag this up and I'll send it to front because I want it to be on top of that layer there, and then I'll try to position it over here nicely, and then I'll head on to size and I'll reduce the size. Click OK, and I head on to letter spacing and I'll increase the letter spacing a bit, and I have it there nicely. So I'll just try to align it to the center vertically, and then I'll use this positioning tool to also place it properly on the shape there, and I check. So I'll head on to color and I'll change the color to a yellowish color there, and I'll change it to this yellow color, and I click OK. So as you can see, our design is gradually coming to life. So we'll just make adjustment to these layers. So we head on to the layers and we want to bring this and this to the top. So we'll just hold this and then to front, and we'll also select this. I'll send it to front as well, and I'll lock them to have them in place. So I lock this to have them in place. So I'll select my summer text and I'll bring it down. So I head on to positioning and I'll bring it down, and then I check. So I select my subject as well, and then I bring it down. So I'll just count the movement so that it doesn't so that the 2 becomes equal to. So I select the other one as well, and then I select this and I bring it down. So we have it equal, and then we'll check. So the next thing we want to do is to give this summer a little shadow. So we'll select it and then we'll head on to shadow and then give it a little shadow, and then we'll reduce the blur radius all the way to 4 pixels and change the color of the shadow to something dark, and then we have this and we'll check. So the next thing I want to do is to add the vibe text. So I head onto the plus icon and I type this text, vibe. So I type this vibe and I click OK. So I already have a style that I've created on Pixellab, and I'll leave a link in the description of a video that will show you how to create styles on Pixellab and how to apply this particular style as well. So we have the style under my styles, and I have it here, and I apply it to this, and then I'll simply increase this, and I'll increase this again, and I'll place it over here nicely. I have it there nicely. So I'll just select the layer and I'll lock this so that I have it in place and it doesn't move. As you can see, guys, our design is gradually coming to life. So the next thing we want to add is to add the name of the DJs that will be performing in this event. So I have that typed already. So I locate it, select it, and then I send it to front, and we have it here. So I'll change the font for this. So I head on to font and then change it to, let me use this Acrobat. I click OK, and then resize it a little bit. So I head on to size, then I reduce the size all the way to, let me make it 30, and I have it there nicely. So I'll check. So I might want to change the color for this to a black color to see how it looks like. So I don't like this font, so I'll just change this font to something bolder. I'll just change it to something bolder. So I'll go with go bold, and I click OK. So I have it there nicely, but I'll reduce the size a little bit, yeah, and I have it there nice and good. So the next thing we want to do is to add the time for this event and to also add the YouTube stream link. So I already have that typed. I'll just head on to my layer and I'll just reveal it, and I'll send this to front, and I'll also select this and send it to front as well. So I'll change the font and also change the size. So I head on to font and my font, and I'll be using this Acrobat bold, and I click OK, and I'll head on to size, and I'll reduce the size all the way to 22. Let me just lock this subject. So I'll place it over here nicely. So I'll place this over here nicely, and then I'll head on to the positioning tool, and I'll position this to the center vertically, and I check, and I'll head on to style, and I'll bold this, and I check. So I select this as well, and then I'll head on to font, and I'll change the font to Acrobat black, and I click OK, and I head on to size, and I reduce the size, and I drag it over here, and then I also use the relative positioning tool for this, positioning to the center, and I'll use the positioning tool to take it up, and we have it there nicely. I'll select this text, and I want to change the color back to white because I don't like how it's looking. So I change the color back to white, and I have it there nicely. So next up, I want to give this design a kind of greenish background effect. So I head on the plus icon and to shapes, and then I'll select the gradient color from here, and I'll use this gradient color. I'll just scale it this way, position it over here, and I check, and then I'll head on to my layers panel, and I select this. I'll select this, and I want to bring it all the way down to where I have my background. I'll bring it all the way down to where I have my background. I drop it here. So as you can see, our design has the greenish kind of background effect there. So we'll do a little adjustment to the elements that we have on our design. So we'll select this, and then I'll head on to the filter, color filter, and I'll make a little adjustment to this hue, make a little adjustment to it this way. And I check, and then I'll head on to opacity, and then I'll reduce the opacity all the way down to 70, and I click OK. So I select my background as well, head on to my background, and I have it selected, and I head on to color filter, and then I'll increase this hue a little bit because I want that greenish effect there, and I have it there nicely, and I check. So guys, as you can see, our design is done and it's looking awesome. So the last thing we want to do is to head on to the save option, and we'll save our design as project. So we have the summer party flyer, and we hit done, and we save it. And lastly, we want to save our design as an image, so we'll head on to the save option. I will save as image, and we want our design to have the highest quality possible, so we'll change the quality type from default to ultra or to very high, but we'll use ultra for now, and we'll save to our gallery. We'll wait for it to save, and we have our design saved, and it's looking awesome. So guys, we've come to the end of this tutorial. Kindly give this video a thumbs up, kindly subscribe to this channel. I would like to see what you have designed, and I've left a link in the description of this video to our Telegram and our Facebook support group, where you can share your designs with designers and you get feedback. So I would love to see what you do, and kindly share your designs with me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.